Gavin. Read those books in a blink, oh yeah. Grab yourself a hot drink cause you're watching How to Train Your Gavin.
Yep, that's me.
Hey guys, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin, and this is episode 3 of my 2020 book hauls. This book haul does span all of February, so it's quite organised in that sense, whereas usually they're just all over the place, or I have to have 2 book hauls for 1 month, but I only need to have 1 video for February because I calmed the fuck down. But the first thing I do want to show you, which isn't really a book haul, this is my book kind of thing. Don't worry, I haven't got a book deal or anything, but I do want to quickly show the Believeathon 2 Journey to the Stronghold Compendium. I won't be showing you what's inside this. There will be an announcement video next week. So I am aiming to announce the Believeathon 2 on March 12th. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes to plan. But this is the compendium. It is 53 pages long, and it will be available as a paperback, or you can download it for free online. But I just thought it would be cool to have something physical for it. It's full colour as well, so you've got all the colours in here. I don't even think I can show you a page without spoiling it. I guess the one page I can show you is the Questers Pledge, which you can sign it yourself if you choose to download this or get a physical copy of it. But this will be available for you soon. I really wanted to show in a video because I'm so proud of it and I love it so much. It's going to be filled with all the information you need for Believeathon 2, all the prompts, the story that goes along with Believeathon 2, a load of recommendations, and also I did put out a tweet asking you guys to let me know how much middle grade means to you or how much Believeathon has helped you with your middle grade reading. So there was a whole section on your responses in this as well, so yeah. I just can't wait for you guys to see what I've done with this one. Starting off with the proofs, I only got 1 in February, and that is The Shadow Moth by Francine Gibbons. This is the first book in the upcoming Clock of Stars series. I'm so excited to read this one. I had no idea this was coming, so thank you so much, HarperCollins, for sending me this. It's a signed proof, bless you. And this one comes out on the 1st of October. All I know about it is that it follows All I know about this one is that it follows This one follows a young girl called Imogen, and she follows a moth to a door in a tree, and it takes her to this whole other world. So it sounds fantastical, it sounds magical, it sounds like a portal fantasy, it sounds like a lot of other, classic middle grades that have come before it. So I can't wait to see what kind of spin this is going to take on it, and it will be filled with illustrations by Chris Riddell. And this is in my March TBR, so I will be getting to read it very, very soon. So on to the books that were gifted to me. Thank you so much to everybody who sent me anything in February. It honestly means the world to me, and of course I will always be giving you your highlights in this video. So I got The Distance Between Me and the Cherry Tree by Paola Peretti, and Wild Spark by Vashti Hardy from Nicola. Thank you so much, Nicola. I think your Twitter name is knickknacknew15. Knickknacknew15 on Twitter. Yeah, that is Nicola's Twitter handle. Thank you so much for sending me these books. I absolutely appreciate it. Wild Spark, Vashti Hardy. I absolutely love Vashti Hardy. She's fantastic. And she has just won the Blue Peter Prize for this book as well. So this is going to be such a fascinating one to dive into. I really want to read this one ASAP because I'm meeting Vashti Hardy at the end of March. So this one follows a young girl called Prue, and she lost her brother a year before. A stranger comes to her one day and tells her about this amazing new technology that allows people to come back to life in these kind of machines. So this is a very Ghost in the Machine, steampunk kind of middle grade, which I am living for. I genuinely don't know much more else about it other than it's written by Vashti Hardy, so it's going to be written fantastically. So much critical acclaim to this one recently, as well as I mentioned the Blue Peter Prize. And Nicola, you must have been reading my mind about meeting Vashti Hardy because you sent me one of her books and I'm so grateful. And she also sent me The Distance Between Me and the Cherry Tree, which I'd never heard of this one before, but it sounds like it's going to make me cry. And this is about a young girl who finds out that in 6 months' time she will lose her eyesight completely. So that's all I know about it. I think it's going to make me cry, I really do. And then the forever amazing Tracy sent me The Secrets of Winter House by Ben Kutterson and Breadcrumbs by Anne Ursu. Oh, Tracy absolutely spoils me rotten, she really does. But The Secrets of Winter House is the sequel to Winter House, which is a middle grade mystery that I read last month for Paulathon, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a brilliant little middle grade mystery set in this wintry hotel, and it follows a young girl who she's pretty much like a little detective, even though she doesn't try to be. and it was like one of the coziest things I've ever read. So I cannot wait to read this one. I don't know what the sequel's about, but I'm pretty sure it will expand that universe and it'll be just as good as the first, I hope. So yeah, looking forward to reading this one and continuing the Winter House Mystery series. And Breadcrumbs I don't really know that much about. I just know Pris read it recently and loved it. This is a Hans Christian Andersen Snow Queen retelling, I believe, about two friends, Hazel and Jack, and then Jack mysteriously goes missing because he follows this woman made of ice, and Hazel has to sort of find him. I think it made Pris cry, so it must be a really emotional one, but either way, this one's like a little bit older as well, so I'm surprised I haven't heard about it up until now because the Snow Queen is one of my favourite fairy tales of all time. So, oh, I just can't wait. I can't wait. This one would have probably been perfect for Paulathon. From the publisher Egmont, I got Amelia Fang and the Naughty Catacombs by Laura Ellen Anderson, the 6th book in the Amelia Fang series. They sent me this one with the Catacombs headband and some foot fudge, which was actually quite delicious. And I made a whole reading vlog for the entire Amelia Fang series, so do check that out. I read 6 of the Amelia Fang books in one day. Hello, Oscar. Am I disturbing you? Oh. So I've read this one and I absolutely loved it. I love the Amelia Fang series. It follows a young girl vampire who lives in Nocturnia, which is this sort of like gothic area where a lot of sort of night creatures live, like vampires and yetis and ghosts and all of that. But yeah, with this one being the 6th one in the series, I don't want to tell you really what the plot is, other than it's just about these 3 cute, adorable catacombs, like cats and unicorns put together, like, oh my god, they're so cute, but they're so naughty. But thank you so much, Egmont, for sending me this one. And then I got 2 books from Krystin, who has already spoilt me so rotten this year. Krystin, you have been an absolute gem of a human being. Thank you so much. But Krystin sent me Straight Until Morning by Liz Braswell and The Sisters Grimm by Mena Van Prague. Firstly, these covers as well, stunning. So this one is a Disney Twisted Tales, which I promise I will start reading in April. I will read my first Disney Twisted Tales in April, I promise. I keep putting them off because I just don't know what to expect, but I love them so much, like the covers and everything and the premises. I just know I'm going to love them, and I think that's why I've been putting off reading them, because I just don't want to be disappointed with them. I pretty much got the full collection now, so I have to start. But this one is, of course, a Peter Pan retelling. What if Wendy first travelled to Neverland with Captain Hook? So this is going to be really interesting to see, because obviously Wendy goes with Tinkerbell and Peter in the original story. Like, will that shape who Wendy becomes? Does she become a villain? Does she not? I genuinely don't know, but I'm so excited to find out. And the Sisters Grimm. I believe this one follows 4 estranged sisters, and each of them represent an element, and they possess like different powers, and I believe they're going to be visiting their father in a dream kind of thing. Genuinely have no idea what this is truly about. I just know the overall premise about the 4 sisters, and the less I know the better. So again, thank you so much, Krystin, for the 2 books you sent me in February. And I got The Midnight Hour by Benjamin Reed and Laura Trinder in my OwlCrate Jr. Bump in the Night box. And I unboxed that as Velma from Scooby-Doo, so do check that one out if you have not already. That is probably my peak, and I am going to be going downhill from there. But The Midnight Hour, this is the American version of it. I have the UK paperback, and this follows a young girl whose parents are taken and trapped in time in Victorian London. Emily, she goes to investigate and help her parents, and Victorian London, it is trapped in time and it is filled with monsters. So again, I'm so looking forward to reading this one, and there is a sequel coming out later on this year, which I will talk about in another video, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. Oh gosh, sorry, a guy who I was talking to for a little bit, who I was romantically interested in. Like, we were talking for a little bit at the end of last year, and then decided to ignore me, and now has just sent me a random Facebook friend request. I don't think so. Ignore me for 4 months and send me a friend request, you sick fuck. Delete. So next are all the books that I bought myself. Some of them you will have already seen because I've read some of these in the vlogs or talked about before, but one of them is Frostfire by Jamie Smith. I bought this one while I was in Ipswich visiting Jade from JD Rereads. I talk about this one a lot in my February wrap up and my reading vlog for Paulathon, but this one does follow a young girl who has to kind of connect with a frost liver, which is a bit like a part of a human soul that it's not really, but that's the only way I can like describe it and it makes sense kind of thing. She goes on this journey to bond with one, but there is like this avalanche on the mountain and she has to sort of survive in this snowy mountain area, and it is a good book. So that is Frostfire by Jamie Smith. And while I was in Ipswich, I also got The Company of Eight by Harriet Whitehorn. This one I don't know a lot about, but I know it follows Cass, and she wants to be an acrobat and she wants to sort of audition to be part of this crew that go around on this like circus ship. Her guardian, I believe, doesn't want her to do it, so Cass runs away, goes onto the ship, and it takes her to the island of women. So I really don't know what to expect with this one, but I have heard mixed things about it now. I didn't really know that much about it when I picked it up. I just remember I haven't seen it before. I was interested, but I've had a message or two to say that it isn't really all that great, but I'm still looking forward to reading it if I ever get a chance to. The next one is also one that you guys know I definitely have, and that is A Sprinkle of Sorcery by Michelle Harrison. I bought the final copy of this one, so it would have the orange sprayed edges and it's signed from Waterstones. Of course, A Sprinkle of Sorcery is the sequel to A Pinch of Magic, which I absolutely love, one of my favourite middle grades of all time, about 3 Widdershins sisters, and they each have a magical item, but they also have a curse placed on them, and the first book goes about trying to break that curse. And be sure to tune into the Middle Grade Monthly live show at the end of March 28th, 10 PM UK time, where we'll be talking to Michelle Harrison. Sorry I have talked about this to death, but yeah, I bought this in February, so I had to show it off in this video as well. I also got Dark Whispers by Vashti Hardy. This came out the same day as A Sprinkle of Sorcery, and this is the sequel to Brightstorm, which I read last month and really enjoyed. It follows 2 twins, and they set off on an adventure when they find out that their dad has been killed and they don't think they've been told the whole truth, and it goes on this like sky ship adventure. And this one, I have no idea what this one is about. It will be interesting to see how the last one left off, to see where it will go in this one, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. So many great middle grade books came out on February 6th, by the way. I'm going to try and squeeze this one into my March TBR, even though I already have a ton on there already. And what else came out on February 6th, I hear you ask? The House of 100 Clocks by A.M. Howell. This one came out on the same day. This one is set in 1905. And this follows Helena, and she is the daughter of a clockmaker, I believe, or is it clockmaker or clockwinder? Clockwinder. So he must just wind the clocks. But he is enlisted by a really wealthy man to make sure that his clocks never stop. So they go to this house with, I think, 100 clocks. And there she discovers a ghostly mystery. So not only is this going to be like a sort of period kind of middle grade, it also sounds like it's going to be a great mystery, and I'm loving those lately. Anything with a house with secrets, it's got my heart. I also had to pick up the final copy of Orphans of the Tide by Struan Murray. I have the proof copy of this, which I read, absolutely loved, because this book shocked me and it was fantastic, it was brilliant. So I really wanted to support the author and buy the final copy, and also to have it in my proper middle grade section on my shelves, because I had my proofs somewhere else. So I wanted this to be with all my other middle grades because I just loved it. I thought it was brilliant. So well written. This one is set on the last city on Earth because everywhere else has been drowned out by the enemy. The enemy is the sort of being that people can't see unless you're the vessel. And yeah, it has such a unique plot. It's so gothic. And I love this one, and I talk about this a lot in my wrap-up because it plays quite highly on my February wrap-up, so yeah, I had to pick up the final copy. It's a beautiful cover as well, just amazing. And then the last middle grade of the month, sorry, that's actually quite a lot of middle grades. The last middle grade is The Light Hunters by Dan Walker. Again, I'm going to be meeting him at the end of this month at the NYA Kids Lit Festival, so I really wanted to get this one so that he can sign it for me. This one is set in a world where there are huge monsters that roam the land, and there are certain groups of people called the Light Hunters, and they have to sort of battle these monsters, I assume. And this one follows Lux, who lives with his ill grandfather and his grandfather's carer, and he is a light hunter, and I believe he saves his best friend from being mortally injured by one of these monsters, which brings about the shadowy, strange figure to town, and it's kind of up to him and his friend to sort of find out what's going on. Again, don't know a lot about it, but it sounds so interesting, so intriguing. And I keep saying I can't wait to read this one, of course, because I wouldn't have got them otherwise. But I'm sorry. I love anything with monsters, and it could be like a next sort of like Percy Jackson kind of thing. I don't know, that's probably a big claim to make, but I look forward to reading it to find out if my theory that this could be like the next Percy Jackson is right. So, oh, I put this in the wrong section. The Good Hawk by Joseph Elliott. This is YA, but I did get this sent to me from the publisher, so thank you Walker Books for sending me this. I forgot to put it at the start. Oh my god, this is a nightmare. I guess I could just edit it. Nah, can't be bothered. So this is YA historical. It's set in a sort of mythic kind of Scotland, and the main character Agatha, she has Down syndrome, and she lives with a clan, and I think something happens that makes the clan, like, I think some kind of terrible event, maybe they get invaded or something, and people scatter, and yeah, I'm not too sure. But this is the first book in the Shadow Sky series, so I'm really interested in reading this one. It's filled with forgotten magic, and I'm all for that, so thank you again Walker Books for sending me this one. The next book I got was Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and this one is nominated at the BookTube SFF Award, so I really want to read this one. It's set in Mexico, the 1920s, and I think it explores like Mayan mythology. Main character accidentally frees a Mayan god of death. That's all I want to know about it, to be honest, because it just sounds so phenomenal. A couple of my friends have recently just read it and they loved it, so I just can't wait to be king. Is it just me or is it absolutely hot in here? Oh, but there are jungles in this! And Mexico City, and the darkness of Xibalba, the Mayan underworld. I probably said that wrong as well. Oh gosh, it just sounds so good! And the last book that I got was The Macys by Kieran Millward Hargrave. This is the Waterstones signed exclusive edition with the red sprayed edges, and the premise is so interesting. So this is based on, I think, the 1617 incident where 40 men died off an island during a storm on Christmas Eve, and the women left on the island have to sort of fight to survive. But there are accusations of witchcraft, and the women are sort of fighting doubts about each other as well, so it sounds really interesting. Kieran Millward Hargrave writes across all genres, so this one is an adult, and she has done YA and middle grade as well, so she's such a talented lady. But even just the cover just made me instantly want to pick this up. And yeah, that's all I pretty much know about it, and it does sound really interesting. So those were the books that I hauled in February. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a little like if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a little comment down below, let me know if you've read any of these books and if any of them interest you, or just hype me up for them. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!